In this video, I'm going to show you how to think of diagonal lines as slope. So in other words, when you have some kind of long line that's going back in depth, like we see this pencil on the table, you want to be able to sort of flatten it out in your mind and see it as an angle. So, but what we're going to do first for the assignment is we're just going to go ahead and intuitively gesture it, and we're going to make our best attempt. Let's make our best attempt. The pencil is it's obviously going uphill that direction, and it's some kind of angle, and I'm taking my best shot at it. I'm drawing it fairly large, over life size actually. And I'm just going to put in a few details here just to indicate where things are. But that's not really what I want you to focus on. Naturally, the thing I want you to focus on is the difficult thing of gauging that angle. What is it? What angle is it? And is it similar to what I'm seeing out here? You might be able to tell right away, just intuitively, whether it's too high or too low or whatever. But let's say you can't tell. Okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to strike from the lowest point, we're going to strike a baseline right along there. I'm making this kind of dark so you can see it. It's dark relative to the drawing. So we have the object's baseline, and you can see that it's making right now a very clear angle. It's easy to see. To make it even easier, though, at least for my eye, I like to drop a plumb line down through the diagonal I'm drawing and through its baseline, so that I get a nice closed right triangle there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to check the proportions of the triangle. So we're going to take this short length and see how many short lengths fit into the long side. So if we take our pencil, line up the tip with the top and the thumb with the bottom, and we're going to check it. Thumb is lined up here. Take note where that is, make a little mark. Move your thumb over, make a little mark, move your thumb over, make a little mark. So what you notice here is I have approximately 1 to 3. It's slightly less. So a triangle that's about 1 to 1, 2, 3. Now let's go over to the still life here, and I'm going to use these little sighting sticks, which are just skewers that I've colored black with a permanent marker. And I'm doing this for clarity purposes, demonstration purposes. I wouldn't expect you to go to this kind of trouble when you're drawing. You can just use your pencil. So here I am with one stick. I'm sighting the baseline, and I'm going to bring another one up here that will help us see the plumb line. And there we can see a triangle of a certain proportion. Now, I'm looking at that proportion there, and now I'm comparing it to the drawing. And what I'm noticing is that I think in the drawing my angle is too high, because to me the proportion of that triangle in the natural world that I see here with the sighting sticks looks more like it's about 1 to 4 rather than something that's 1 to 3. So I've got something now that I can compare, and I'm going to make a change to the drawing. And so I think what I'm seeing is actually it's lying somewhere about here. So I'm just going to I'm shortening the short distance. I'm bringing that down some. I'm changing the angle. And I'm trying to darken it so you can see my correction over my initial estimate. And I'm going to bring the other end of the pencil up here so you just have a sense of, a complete object that we're drawing. And I've changed the angle. By changing the angle, I've changed the proportion of the triangle too. So it's a fairly simple process. And you may look at it again and say, well, that's not enough. That's not enough. Let's try again. Let's try again. You can drop it down further. That's okay to do. Let's say we have an angle that's very slight and it's kind of difficult to gauge. Let's say I drew this when I was looking at that. We can see that it's obviously wrong. But let's say that as we're sighting this, we're just having trouble we're having trouble sighting that triangle. We're having trouble deciding what the slope is. It's just too slight. It's just too slight to see. You know, what is that, 1 by 10 or something? I don't know. But what you can do, let's say you've drawn this, and you've drawn it once, you've drawn it twice, you've drawn it 3 times, and you just keep you struggle. Stop, look at this distance here, and just split it in half. And make that the line, and draw it in, say that it's right, and move on with the drawing. That's called splitting the difference. So, I've taught you here in this video about seeing this diagonal as slope, and then also when you run into trouble when it's so slight, how you can just split the difference and call it good.